Crawl out through the fallout, baby, when they drop that bomb. Crawl out through the fallout with the greatest of aplomb.
This is an image of a bomb shelter built in America during the Cold War.
Spies were making monkeys out of us.
During the Cold War, everybody was really living in fear of a nuclear attack from another country, and people really had a right to be hysterical about it because everywhere they looked, there were just reminders that at any moment we could all die. The government created propaganda that encouraged people to practice safety procedures and be prepared for a nuclear attack, and entertainment was all focused on the bomb. Singers were writing songs all about nuclear explosions. TV shows were talking about nuclear explosions. Schools were teaching kids to duck and cover in case of a nuclear explosion. It was everywhere. People started to take comfort in the thought that if they built a shelter, they could keep themselves safe in case a bomb is going to land in their area.
Atomic cocktail.
Fallout shelters like these were built primarily in the basements and backyards of suburban homes. The reason that they were mostly only built in suburban homes is because the government felt that the suburban areas of America would be the #1 targets for other countries, since so many people were so packed very close together, and it would be an easy target for other countries to just go and wipe out those giant populations of people in suburban areas. Shelters were also always underground because it was believed that having that extra space between the survivors and the ground above where there's a lot of radiation would really just keep them from being exposed to radiation.
Back in the USSR.
It was recommended that each family keep 7 days worth of food and water on hand at all times during the threat of a nuclear war. This family has a giant shelf full of food, and they even have places to sleep and places to eat. So they are definitely prepared to survive because they have the resources they need, but they also have things that they don't need to survive, so they also want to live comfortably while they're stuck in their shelter.
You know, when I come out, there won't be no walls around.
To me, it seems like this fallout shelter was built in the basement of the house, which is cheaper than if you were to build it in the backyard of your house, but it's still very expensive to build a fallout shelter at all. And this family equipped it with a lot of extra things like comfortable beds and a table and a big shelf full of a very diverse selection of food. So they're definitely well off, even if they're not the richest of the rich. The fact that so many Americans could afford to build these super expensive shelters really shows how well off Americans were at this time. Because just a few decades earlier, Americans could barely afford to feed themselves, and now they were able to feed themselves and also store extra food that they may never even need in this shelter that they paid thousands and thousands of dollars for. So the fact that Americans could just prepare for an emergency like this and invest so much money into it really shows that Americans were doing really well during this period of time. It seems like this fallout, to me it seems